You didn't stop on this message by coincidence. Something within you brought you here. A quiet pull, a soft nudge, a deep instinct that said, "Stay. Something here is meant for you." And if you're honest, you can already feel it. Your chest feels a little different. Your breath shifts. Your mind goes quieter. Because some part of you knows that this is the moment everything you've been struggling to understand finally begins to make sense. There has been a fog around your life for a while now. A heaviness you couldn't explain. A confusion that didn't quite match your reality. You tried to make sense of things, but nothing seemed to align. Paths that once looked clear suddenly felt uncertain. Plans you trusted fell apart unexpectedly. People you counted on changed without warning. It felt like you were walking through shadows, trying to find a direction you couldn't see. But today, something is shifting. You may not realize it yet, but you've been moving toward this exact moment for a long time. Every confusing experience, every delay, every disappointment, they weren't punishments. They were preparation. The universe wasn't blocking you. It was guiding you. It wasn't denying clarity. It was saving it for the moment you were finally ready to receive it. Think about all the times recently when you thought, "Why is this happening?" Or, "Why can't I see the way forward?" Those questions weren't signs of failure. They were invitations. Invitation to pause, to reflect, to release old patterns, to step out of the familiar so you could step into the truth. Confusion is not the opposite of clarity. It is the doorway to it. It is the space where old perspectives dissolve so new understanding can emerge. And the understanding is beginning now. Your spirit has been whispering to you for weeks. You felt it as restlessness, as exhaustion, as sudden emotion, as pressure in your chest, as a strange pull toward silence. All of this was your inner world shifting, making room for the clarity that is descending now. Before clarity arrives, the spirit goes still. Before the light appears, the fog must thicken. Before things make sense, the old meanings must fall apart. That's what you've been experiencing. You weren't lost. You were being recalibrated. You weren't stuck. You were being redirected. You weren't confused. You were being softened, opened, unlayered so you could finally understand what your heart has been trying to tell you all along. Think back to the moments when your chest suddenly tightened for no reason, or when your emotions rose out of nowhere, or when you felt like crying without understanding why. These weren't breakdowns. They were breakthroughs disguised as collapse. Your soul was pushing out the old so you could make space for the truth that is finally ready to land. And maybe you've already noticed the shift beginning. Your mind has been quieter. Your heart has been more reflective. Your intuition has been louder. Your soul has been more honest. Maybe you caught yourself saying, "I don't know what's happening, but something is changing." And you were right. Something is changing. Something inside you, behind you, around you. A new understanding is making its way toward you, and for the first time in a long time, your energy is open enough to receive it. There were moments, even recently, when you questioned everything, your choices, your direction, your relationships, your purpose. But those questions weren't signs that you were failing. They were signs that you were waking up. Awakening doesn't always feel like enlightenment. Sometimes it feels like confusion. Sometimes it feels like falling apart. Sometimes it feels like standing in a fog with no idea where to go next. But that fog is thinning now. You may feel a warmth in your chest as you read this. A soft pressure. A subtle sense of recognition. That is your spirit responding to truth. Truth always makes the body respond, not the mind. Truth is felt before it is understood. And right now, you are feeling the beginning of clarity settling into your energy field. Your confusion was not a mistake. It was a transition. Your delays were not obstacles. They were alignment. Your disappointments were not endings. They were redirections. Every moment you didn't understand was a step toward the understanding that is arriving now. And here's what the angels want you to know. You didn't fail. You weren't wrong. You weren't abandoned. You weren't forgotten. You were being positioned. Every closed door protected you. Every unanswered question strengthened you. Every painful realization awakened you. Every unexpected change prepared you. And now, finally, the moment has come where the pieces begin falling into place. You may feel your breath deepening right now. You may feel tension leaving your shoulders. You may feel a strange wave of relief washing over you. This is clarity entering your system. There is something you are about to understand, something that will shift the way you see your path. Something that will make you say, "Now I get it. Now it makes sense." And when it arrives, it will not confuse you. It will feel like recognition, like remembering, like something inside you finally clicking into place. Your spirit already knows the truth. Your heart already senses the direction. Your energy already feels the alignment. It is only your mind that is catching up. So take a breath. Let the fog lift. Let the heaviness go. Let your heart soften. And silently, within yourself, whisper, "I am ready to understand." Because your clarity isn't coming someday. It's beginning now. As this new clarity begins to enter your spirit, you may notice a subtle shift in the way you're experiencing your thoughts and emotions. What once felt overwhelming now feels manageable. What once felt confusing now feels like it's slowly taking shape inside your awareness. This is not because your circumstances changed overnight, but because something inside you is changing. Your perception is expanding. Your intuition is sharpening. Your heart is opening to truths it wasn't ready to see before. There is a moment in every person's spiritual journey when the noise begins to quiet down, not because life becomes easier, but because the soul becomes stronger. That is what's happening to you right now. The heaviness you carried for so long has begun to loosen. The questions that once weighed down your chest feel lighter. Even if you don't fully understand everything yet, the panic around not understanding has softened. This is clarity approaching. Clarity rarely arrives in a single instant. It doesn't always appear as a sudden revelation that lights up your entire life. Sometimes it begins like this, a soft easing, a gentle understanding, a quiet expansion inside your heart. You may feel moments of calm that come out of nowhere. You may start to see connections between events you once thought were unrelated. You may feel your emotions becoming more honest, more grounded, more reflective. This is how clarity takes root. Lately, you've been pulled inward, not in a lonely or isolating way, but in a grounding way. You've been reflecting more, feeling more, observing more. And this inward pull was necessary. You were being guided into yourself so you could see the truth without distractions, without noise, without the influence of other people's expectations or opinions. Your spirit wanted you to see your path clearly, not through fear, not through pressure, not through confusion, but through truth. And truth always begins within. There were moments in the past weeks when you felt an unexplainable shift in your emotions. Not sadness, not joy, something deeper. A quiet recognition. A sense of something clicking inside you, even if you didn't have the words for it yet. That sensation was your inner guidance system waking up. It was your soul showing you that you are finally stepping into a mental and energetic space where clarity can land. Think about the conversations you've had recently. Some of them revealed things you didn't notice before. Some of them showed you truths you had been ignoring. Some of them pushed you to rethink decisions, relationships, or priorities. You may not have realized it then, but those moments were designed to move you toward clarity. And you were paying attention, even when you thought you weren't. Your heart has been absorbing the truth long before your mind could explain it. And now, the explanation is beginning. There were also situations that frustrated you, doors that refused to open, plans that fell apart, people who distanced themselves, outcomes that didn't go the way you hoped. These weren't setbacks. They were detours. They weren't failures. They were realignments. They weren't punishments. They were protection. You were being pulled away from what wasn't meant for you, even when you were tempted to cling to it. Because what isn't aligned will always create confusion. And what is aligned will always create clarity. This is why your confusion was necessary. It showed you where you didn't belong. It revealed what wasn't meant for you. It pushed you toward what your soul truly needed. Confusion is the universe's way of redirecting you toward truth. And now that the redirection is complete, the truth is beginning to rise. Your recent emotional experiences weren't random. They were layered with meaning. The moments you felt lost weren't moments of weakness. They were moments of recalibration. The moments you felt unsure weren't signs of failure. They were signs of transition. You weren't falling apart. You were falling into alignment. And this new alignment brings something powerful. The ability to see what you couldn't see before. You might notice that certain people's intentions are becoming clearer. Situations that once confused you now feel obvious. Opportunities you once overlooked are standing out. Patterns in your life are revealing themselves. And your own emotions are finally telling the truth rather than the fear. Your spirit is no longer whispering. It is speaking. And you are hearing it, maybe for the first time in a long time. This is the beginning of clarity. When the fog inside you lifts before the fog outside you disappears. Your external world might still look the same, but your internal world has changed. And because your inner world has changed, your outer world will soon follow. What you accept will shift. What you tolerate will change. What you pursue will evolve. What you allow into your heart will become more aligned with your truth. As clarity grows, you will find yourself understanding things you've been wrestling with for years. Past events will suddenly make sense. Old wounds will reveal their lessons. Situations that broke you will expose what they were shaping in you. You will look back and realize that you were never lost. You are being prepared, and that preparation is ending. The understanding is beginning. You may already feel something lifting off your shoulders, a pressure dissolving, a weight lightening, a tightness easing. This physical sensation is confirmation that your spirit is integrating clarity. When the body responds, it means the truth is sinking in. Take a slow breath now. Feel your ribcage expand. Feel your chest soften. Feel your awareness sharpen. What you are stepping into isn't simply knowledge. It's vision. It's insight. It's understanding. It's truth. The fog is thinning. Your path is aligning. Your spirit is awakening. And all of this is leading you somewhere meaningful, somewhere intentional, somewhere you were always meant to reach. Silently, in your own heart, repeat, I welcome clarity into my life. Because with those words, the understanding deepens even more. As clarity settles deeper into your awareness, something extraordinary begins to happen within you. The way you interpret your experiences starts to shift. The meanings you once attached to events begin to evolve. You find yourself questioning less and understanding more. It feels as if your inner world is rearranging itself, placing each memory, each emotion, each revelation exactly where it belongs. And with this rearrangement, a new sense of truth begins to rise. There comes a point in every awakening where the soul stops resisting and starts revealing. You are stepping into that point now. The tension you once felt is dissolving because the version of you that clung to confusion is no longer the version that is leading your life. A wiser, calmer, more intuitive part of you has taken over. A part of you that sees beyond the surface of things and recognizes the deeper patterns shaping your path. Recently, you may have noticed moments when your perspective shifted suddenly, even if only for a few seconds. A situation that once upset you now feels neutral. A problem that felt overwhelming suddenly seems solvable. An emotional trigger that once threw you off balance no longer has the same power. These subtle shifts are not random. They are signs that your consciousness is expanding, allowing you to see truth without distortion. Clarity is not just understanding. It is a transformation of perception. And you are in the middle of that transformation. Think about a moment, not too long ago, when you felt a sudden sense of relief for no clear reason. Or a moment when a memory resurfaced and instead of hurting you, it offered insight. Or a moment when you felt unusually grounded, even though nothing external had changed. These experiences were not coincidences. They were markers. Evidence that clarity has entered your energy field and is actively reorganizing the way you interpret your reality. You may also notice that your intuition is speaking more loudly now. That inner voice, once faint, is becoming unmistakable. You're beginning to trust your instincts more deeply, not because you decided to, but because confusion no longer blocks the signal. Intuition becomes louder when clarity comes closer. Even your emotional reactions have changed. You might feel less reactive, more observant. You may find yourself pausing before responding. You may notice you're choosing peace over conflict, understanding over frustration, acceptance over force. This isn't because you're trying harder. It's because clarity naturally creates emotional maturity. Your soul is finally breathing again. And when the soul breathes, the mind becomes still. Some people spend their entire lives searching for this stillness without finding it. But you are entering it gently, naturally, organically. You didn't force your awakening. You grew into it. You earned it through endurance, through reflection, through every moment of confusion that softened you into understanding. Now the understanding is blooming. Look at your relationships lately. You can see more clearly who enriches your life and who drains it. You can sense the truth behind people's words, the intention behind their actions, the energy behind their presence. You are beginning to recognize who aligns with your future and who belongs to your past. This is one of the strongest signs of spiritual clarity, when the heart stops holding on to what is misaligned. Clarity does not just reveal truths about the world. It reveals truths about yourself. You might be noticing that your desires are changing. What you once wanted no longer feels fulfilling. What you once chased no longer feels important. What you once accepted no longer resonates. This is not confusion. It is evolution. It means you are aligning with a truer, more authentic version of yourself, the version that has always existed beneath the noise. And as you align with this deeper self, you begin to understand your past in ways you couldn't before. Suddenly, the heartbreak makes sense. The detour makes sense. The ending makes sense. Even the moments that felt unfair or cruel begin to reveal their purpose. You can now see how each experience shaped you, stretched you, strengthened you, and prepared you for this moment of clarity. The pain didn't break you. It refined you. It sculpted you. It carved wisdom into your spirit. And now that wisdom is waking, there is a powerful calm growing inside you, a calm that comes from trusting yourself again. You no longer feel the need to force answers. You no longer crave external validation. You no longer chase what isn't meant for you, because clarity teaches you to trust the unfolding, to trust that every step, every shift, every pause is part of your greater alignment. And with this trust comes peace. The confusion that once consumed you is losing its power. What once kept you awake at night now feels distant. What once tightened your chest now feels lighter. Your energy is opening. Your awareness is expanding. Your spirit is rising into a higher understanding. Clarity doesn't always appear as a loud revelation. Often it arrives like this, a soft awakening that slowly but steadily changes the direction of your entire life. And you can feel it happening. Maybe as you read this, there is a warmth spreading in your chest, a loosening in your breath, a recognition in your soul, a familiarity you can't quite explain. This is your inner truth acknowledging what it already knows. You are stepping into a new level of understanding, a new level of awareness, a new level of self-recognition. You are not who you were, and you will never be that version again. This is the beginning of a deeper clarity, one that will not fade. A clarity that will stay with you, guide you, elevate you, and reshape the choices you make from this point forward. A clarity that will illuminate your path in ways you once prayed for. The fog is almost gone. The weight is almost lifted. The truth is almost fully present. Take a slow breath now. Feel the shift happening within you, and silently whisper to yourself, everything is becoming clear. Because with those words, the clarity deepens even further. As this clarity continues to unfold within you, your entire relationship with life begins to shift. You start noticing things you once overlooked. You begin recognizing patterns you never understood before. The world around you hasn't changed. You have. Your awareness has expanded. Your perception has sharpened. And now you can see what was always there, but hidden beneath layers of confusion, fear, and old beliefs. It becomes clear to you that nothing in your life was random. Even the moments that felt chaotic were orchestrated with intention. Every person who entered or left, every opportunity that appeared or vanished, every emotion that rose or faded, all of it was part of a larger, intricate design that was shaping you into who you are now. And the more clarity you gain, the more you understand that you are being guided all along. There were times when you begged for answers, when you wanted closure, when you wanted the universe to explain itself. And now, slowly, gracefully, those answers are forming inside your heart. Not as dramatic revelations, not as lightning bolts of insight, but as a knowing, calm, grounded, undeniable. You simply know what you didn't know before. You simply understand what you couldn't understand before. This is what true clarity feels like. Quiet, peaceful certainty. You may find yourself replaying certain memories, not with pain, but with understanding. You see now why some relationships had to end. You see now why certain opportunities didn't unfold. You see now why certain feelings lingered until you learned their lesson. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? You're beginning to ask, what did this teach me? And that question alone marks a profound shift in your consciousness. The truth is, you've grown. You've expanded. You've matured spiritually in ways you may not have realized, and clarity is confirming that growth. Your inner world no longer feels like a battlefield. The storms that once raged inside, you have quieted. The self-doubt that once overwhelmed you has softened. The fear that once held you back has begun dissolving. You're not fighting yourself anymore. You're listening. You're not running from your emotions. You're understanding them. You're not resisting the truth. You're welcoming it. This welcoming is important. Clarity does not force its way in. It enters through openness, and you have finally opened. Open to answers. Open to truth. Open to perspective. Open to transformation. And because you've opened, your energy is shifting to match the clarity you are receiving. You might notice that you're speaking more honestly now, not out of anger, but out of alignment. You may feel less need to explain yourself to others. You may feel more protective of your energy, more selective with your connections, more intentional with your decisions. These are all signs that clarity is integrating into your daily life. Your boundaries have strengthened, not because you are guarded, but because you are aware. Your intuition has sharpened, not because you are guessing, but because you are hearing. Your sense of direction has improved, not because the future is fully visible, but because your inner compass is finally working the way it was meant to. There will be moments when this new clarity surprises you. You may suddenly feel calm in situations that once triggered you. You may feel guided toward choices that feel intuitively right. You may sense when someone's energy is aligned or misaligned with yours. These are not coincidences. They are signs that your clarity is becoming part of who you are. And perhaps the most powerful shift is this. You are beginning to trust yourself again. Trust your instincts. Trust your decisions. Trust your timing. Trust your path. The doubt that once clouded your mind is losing its grip, because clarity dissolves doubt the way light dissolves darkness. When you understand yourself, fear can no longer manipulate you. When you see the truth, confusion can no longer control you. When you embrace your power, the past can no longer define you. You may feel a deep sense of relief washing over you as you read this, as if something heavy is finally loosening its hold. This release is part of the shift. Your energy is making space for what's coming next. And what's coming next is not chaos, not confusion, not uncertainty, but direction. Real direction. Aligned direction. Soul-guided direction. Because clarity does not just explain your past, it redefines your future. You're stepping into a new phase of your life where decisions will feel easier, where opportunities will feel more aligned, where people who match your frequency will enter, and people who don't will naturally drift away. You won't need to force anything. You won't need to guess. You won't need to chase. Things will begin to flow, not because life suddenly becomes perfect, but because your energy is finally aligned with truth. And when you align with truth, everything else aligns with you. Take a moment now and place your awareness in your heart. Feel the warmth there. Feel the expansion. Feel the quiet understanding settling in. Let that feeling grow. Let it fill you. Let it anchor you. You are not who you were at the beginning of this journey. You're softer, yet stronger. Calmer, yet more powerful. Quieter, yet more awakened. And this clarity, this awakening, will stay with you. It will guide you through choices. It will protect you from deception. It will lead you to what is meant for you. It will illuminate what you once could not see. You've reached a turning point, a moment of truth, a moment of awareness, a moment of awakening. Take a deep breath. Feel the shift in your chest. Feel the settling in your mind. Feel the certainty in your spirit. Then whisper to yourself, my clarity has arrived, and I trust it, because from this moment on, everything begins to make sense.